Hello. Today we visit an old Reddit thread in What's Your Secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out. A lot of this thread is bad. Like 18 plus bad. But I have filtered those out and put the PG ones in this video. There is no way I will be putting those other stories I missed in another video, so if you want to explore the other posts I have included the link to the thread down below. With that out of the way, sit back and enjoy. I once took a shit in the bathtub and then realizing what a horrible mistake I'd made, I flung poo into a hole in the wall. My parents renovated and patched up the hole. So now there is a 15-year-old turd in between the bathroom and kitchen wall of my childhood home. Not even using a throwaway because I have no shame. Cousin died when we were both 17. There was a reception at his house just after the funeral. I went into his room and stole all the money that was there, took some other valuables that his parents wouldn't realize were gone. No one knows that I did it, they just assumed he didn't have any money in his room, only loose change. I don't regret it, but I will never admit I did it. I run a cake business. I charge people hundreds for wedding cakes. Every last one is made using Pillsbury cake mix I buy for $1 a box at Walmart. I suck at baking. Every time I've ever tried to make a cake from scratch it sucked. But baking is like my whole deal. My friends all call me the cake girl. It's like my whole life is a lie. People compliment my cakes all the time. Telling me how delicious they are. Telling me it's so much better than box mix cake. Telling me they could never bake a cake so delicious. Well, guess what? For $1, they too can make a cake just as delicious. Just add oil, eggs and water. In my defense, I love cake decorating. I make all of the frostings and fondant from scratch. I just hate baking fucking cakes. I base my prices mostly on the decoration of the cakes and not of the cake itself, if that makes sense. Still, no one knows about this except my husband. Even my best friends think I fucking slave over the oven mixing and baking these damn cakes. I have been doing this for years. If anyone knew, my business and reputation would be in the toilet for sure. I keep telling myself I have to learn how to make the damn cakes without the box mixes, but I never do it. I feel like such a sham sometimes. The cake. It's a lie. At least there was no incest in this one. I once taped a Mets game without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball. Why would you want to tape a Mets game? Please tell me most of you have masturbated to your female friends. It's weird, I am not really attracted to them, but it's a fantasy for me, like a what if. I have the reverse fantasy. I'm a girl, and although I'm not especially attracted to any of my close guy friends, it really turns me on to think about them masturbating to me. I just read that back and it sounds so self-centered, ha ha ha. But really, it's just my close male friends, not every male ever or something. I hate all of my friends. Literally. I don't have anything in common with any of them, and don't care. But I'm too scared to be alone and have no one else to go to, so I keep hanging around with them. I have been pretending to be colorblind to everyone I have ever known, including my own parents, since I was in 3rd grade. I am now 28 years old. I even convinced an optometrist of it. Before your death, are you going to make your last words, fooled you? Buried comment, but here goes. Not life-ruining, but makes me feel like shit every time I think about it. As I've told Reddit before, I have a blind brother. When we were young, I used to get so frustrated at all the extra attention he received and how I had to be more responsible with my sibling than my peers. So, when my brother and I would go play, go to the store, or just generally go anywhere without adults, I would abandon him somewhere unfamiliar to him. Then, I would stand off quietly and watch the anxiety set in as he tried to figure out where he was and what was going on. Also, I was really intelligent as a child and knew that was my ticket to attention. When I would help my brother with his homework, I would teach him all the wrong answers, so that I could continue being the smarter sibling. Today, my brother is my best friend. He goes to college and lives by himself. He's become one of the most intelligent men I've ever met. I'm trying to make it up to him now by being the best big sister ever, but I still feel so guilty at how I found him to be a burden when I was a kid. Edit. Update. I immediately called my brother after posting this and caught him while he was walking to a study group. I told him about my guilt and he laughed. He understands how frustrating it must have been. He told me that all of the good things I have done as a sister completely overshadow anything bad I did, and that he loves me more than anything. I'm glad I spoke with him, and I encourage others on here to talk to someone if they can. When I was younger, I would lie about anything and everything. Like having more brothers and sister than I did, where I grew up, where I was born, and I would make up lies about random things that didn't even matter. I have no idea why I did it, but some of the lies have kept going. I'm 21 and still maintaining random lies I've told forever. I pick my nose and eat it with some regularity. No one knows that I do this, including my girlfriend who I spend every night with. It probably wouldn't be all that catastrophic if people found out, but it certainly feels that way to me. I speak 2 languages, so every time I received a new essay I would browse the topic in my own language and translate the text word by word to English, then submitted it. No one ever caught me for plagiarism before. I pee in the sink. If God didn't want us to pee in sinks, he wouldn't have put them at dick level. There was a girl who I had a crush on the moment I saw her on my college campus. She ended up dating a douchebag dude a few weeks later. I happened to end up sitting in a study room with him and a few mutual friends. He talked about how he didn't think she was that attractive and how he liked other girls. I wrote the girl an anonymous email using one of those websites telling her about the things I heard and how the guy was a dick. She ended up breaking up with him after she found out he was cheating. The girl is now my girlfriend of 6 months. She has no idea, and is sitting across from me in the library. I've never told anyone this before. My daughter turns 5 next week. If anyone knew the truth behind her parentage, I could probably lose her forever. I grew up in foster care, never knew my parents or siblings. In my senior year, I met an older guy and we dated for almost a year. Getting pregnant about 7 months in. One night while we were watching TV, the subject somehow came around to our real parents. He had been adopted as a young child. Turns out the man I was seeing, the father of my daughter, is my half-brother. We have the same mother. Our relationship didn't last, and he is not in her life, for his own choices. My daughter is extremely smart, beautiful, and well-rounded. She'll never know the truth. Her father and I made a pact to never tell her. I just hope she never needs a kidney or something. I had a fraternity brother who was a real dick to me in college and hazed the shit out of me. Back then, you could log into the registration system to sign up for classes. He was a senior, so he got first pick of the classes he wanted. This was right when the internet was becoming popular, and back then, a person's login was their name, and their PIN was their birthday. I logged into his account, and dropped all of his classes 3 days after they started. He did not find out until midterms when the professor submitted his grades. They refunded his money, but he had to spend an extra semester in college. Second story, I do not have a lot of confidence, and can never ask girls out. I met my current wife by installing a keystroke logger on her computer, and intercepting Facebook messages and chats with her friends until I confirmed she liked me. That way I knew exactly how to approach her. I orchestrated our entire early courtship to my advantage. If she knew, she would likely divorce me because I delved deep into her personal life and found out some crazy things about her past. I still have imaginary friends. I'm almost 30. I lost them for a while. I don't know why or how, but they were gone. I couldn't see them or hear them anymore, not the way I used to when I was younger. It made me was miserable. I kept hoping for a way to get them back. 2 weeks ago, I somehow managed to finally break through whatever the barrier was. I have spent the past 2 weeks hanging out with, and talking to, a character from a well-known TV show. I can't really see him visually, but I can see him with my mind's eye. He goes almost everywhere with me. He's sitting on my bed right now, waiting for me to get off my computer. I promised I would get off a little while ago, but I had to check Reddit one last time. He's been coming to work with me every day for the past 2 weeks. I share my food with him. I kind of mentally duplicate it for him, since he can't touch it in reality. I love it. I'm happy again. I realize most people would say he isn't real, but something about him is. I don't care. He's real to me. I know this thread is most likely dead now, but I used to masturbate a lot. And when I was 10 I had a technique where I'd let off a load into a sock, then wash it and quickly dry it. Now I couldn't leave it hanging outside or use a dryer, otherwise my family would have seen it and probably smell it or whatnot. So I'd put it inside my gas heater unit. Unfortunately my sock had caught on fire inside the unit, blew it up and set my house on fire. Only my brother was home at the time, and he managed to survive, the house did not. For 5 years we stayed from caravan park to caravan park whilst we waited for confirmation that it was not arson and we could receive an insurance payout. We eventually did and scraped together money to start rebuilding the house. The house is still being rebuilt to this day, and it shames me anytime I have to visit my parents living in a tiny mobile home where my backyard once was. After graduating from high school, I went to a small out-of-state college where no one from high school knew me. I was told many times how impressive my false Australian accent was, so I decided it would be great fun to go through college pretending to be from Australia. All of my friends and even my girlfriend of 2 years think I'm Australian. I have a completely fake Australian identity, family, and past. I will soon be graduating, and I plan on asking the girl to marry me. Everything she knows about me is Australian. I don't know how to tell her she doesn't really know me. Guess I'm forever a bloke. Not mine, but my whole family's. My dad got rich by associating with a scumbag that has his own construction company. Scumbag bribes city officials to approve unstable skyscrapers that would collapse with a 4.0 earthquake, and my dad makes all the paperwork discreetly. In exchange, multi-millionaire scumbag persuades his other loaded friends to hire my dad as their lawyer. I'm now trying to get into office in the next 30 years to revert most of what my family has contributed to. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you sticking around until the end of the video, and make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your favorite candy to lighten up the mood. Until next time.